This is the kind of animation that we are going to make today. So it's a rainfall kind of animation that we are going to work on. And besides that, in this lecture we are also going to learn how how many kinds of collisions can we make use of in this game lab environment of code.org. So that's also we are going to you know look. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to come on the game lab environment. So, and once you know the after this, what is the first thing that we are required to define two sprites, right? One is the umbrella kind of sprite, and the other sprite is for raindrops. Fine. So for that umbrella, I'm going to upload an image that is there on my desktop. So this is the one that I'm going to use as an umbrella sprite. Let me just rename this sprite to umbrella. And the second sprite, let's have this rainbow kind of thing. We will reduce the size of this thing and we'll make it look like a droplet. So we are going to make use of this one. Now we are done with we are done with defining the two uh, you know uh, the two sprites that we require for creating the animation. Now for calling those on this world area, let me just enlarge the size of this world area first, so that everything can be more visible to you. And this is the first thing that I need to use, and this is the second thing that I need to use for calling my umbrella on the world area, right? The students who do not know about these two blogs, they can please check out the first lecture of game lab playlist. And here we need to select this umbrella. Right now, as the size of the umbrella, it's very big. So in order to scale it, in order to reduce the size, or in order to control the size of the umbrella, we can make use of this sprite.scale option. Let's pass a value for this. For now I'm going to pass 0.5. Then as you had seen uh, in that animation, there were several droplets that were coming right from the top, and they were moving towards this direction. Okay, so how can we make those droplets? So there is only one this raindrop. So in order to create multiple images of this raindrop, okay, so as to look at like a rainfall, so as to give it a view, or you can say so that we can make it look like a rainfall, this drop, we need to create multiple images of this raindrop. Now the best way of doing this is to create a group, is to define a group in which we can keep all the images of the raindrop. Now how can we do that? For doing that, we need to define a variable first, a group variable first. This is the one that we need to define, and after that we will be using a for loop, right? As I've told you in the previous lecture, this is the best way, this for loop is the best way of creating multiple images of a particular sprite. Suppose if you want to create 50 images, so here I'm going to pass 50 as a value. Now after that I need to again come on this sprites option, okay, and I need to define this var sprite over here. Fine. The way we define, the way we define these two blocks over here in the workspace for a particular sprite, in the same way we are going to define these two sprites for accessing, for fetching the raindrops on this world area. So, and here instead of animation we need to have a raindrop. Now what else we can do? We need to scale up the size of the raindrops. So for that we can again use this sprite.scale option. Here let us pass a value, let's say 0.3. Okay. Now as you know, as the drops will be coming from the top and they will be moving towards this direction. Now as you can see, the value of x is going to remain the same for every drop, but the value of y is changing. It is changing continuously. So the velocity with which it is going to move, I can control the velocity of the droplets by this sprite.velocity y. I do not have to define velocity x for the raindrops because they are moving in only one direction. They are coming from top and they are moving towards this direction, towards the bottom. So that's the reason I don't have to define this block, this code for the droplets. Fine, and I want to give it a value, a random value. Fine, somewhere between 1 and 5. So for that I can use this random number block like this, and this. Okay, now I need to add these sprites. So this for loop is whatever sprite, whatever copies this for loop is going to produce, I need to add it to my group, this group that I've created over here using this variable. So for that I can make use of this group dot add sprite, right? So automatically all the sprites will get added to this group. Now what else do we need to do? Now for calling the sprites, so fetching the sprites on this world area, we can make use of this function. We can make use of this function draw, and I'm going to put it over here just after the for loop. I need to put it. Fine. Similarly, for drawing all the sprites on the world area, I need to make use of this draw sprites, and we need to define the background color also. So for now I'm going to define the background color as white. Let's say what we are going to see on the world area when we'll run the code. So this is a kind of animation that we'll get to see when we will run the code. Okay. So why it is happening, why these raindrops are I'm able to see the raindrops, but they are coming from this point. So in order to make them appear from this top part, what I can do is, instead of giving them a hardcore value, I can give them some random value in between 0 to 400, right? So that's what I am going to do. Just a second, I think I'm making some mistake here. Okay, now that's fine. So for this also I'm going to define a random value, and for the second parameter also I am going to define a random value. Besides that, I would like to define two more parameters, and I'm going to keep them as 10, 10 at the end. So that's how I can do it. And here the random value that I want is should lie in between 0 to 400, and here the random value should lie in between minus 200, because they will be coming somewhere from here. So the value here will be, it will be less than 0, so it will be around minus 200, right? Let us say it's minus 200 comma 0. So now let's see what kind of animation we'll get to see here. Okay, we are not able to see anything. Why? Let us just check that out. Still I'm not able to see anything here. What is the thing? What is the mistake that we are making? This random value 0 to 400, we have given this, and it is, suppose if we remove this, and instead of this, if I'll again keep this, whether we'll be able to see the sprites or not, let's first check that out. It may be possible that we might be making some mistake in the codes. That's why we are not able to fetch the sprites on the world area. No, we are still not able to see anything. I think why we are not able to see anything. This is umbrella and this is raindrop, and here also it is raindrop and it is umbrella. Let's do one thing, let's refresh the page. Might be because of that we are not able to fetch the sprites on the world area. Now let's see what's gonna happen. What are we going to see on the world area when we'll run the app. So now we are able to see it. So just because we had not refreshed the page, we were not able to see the sprites. Now we are able to see the sprites. Now as you can see, the size of these sprites, the raindrop sprites is they are very big. So in order to reduce the size, we can pass a value like 0.1 for these sprites. Let's see what's gonna happen. 0.1 is also very big. 0.03. Oh, that is looking fine. Okay, that is looking cool. Perfect. So that's how we can get the required animation. Now what else we need to do? Let's just see that. Now what we want is, we want to control this umbrella through the direction keys. We want to control the movement of this umbrella through the direction keys. How can we do that? Again, we can make use of if loop. Absolutely right. We can make use of if loop, and from this world area we are going to pick up this key down block. If we will press the right direction key, now what happens when an object moves towards the right direction? The value of x, it increases, but the value of y remains the same. So the value of umbrella dot x, it's gonna, it is going to increase. Umbrella dot x plus 5. Okay, now let's see whether we'll be able to move it towards the right direction or not. Yes, we are able to do it. Now similarly, if you want to make it move towards the right direction, we can do it. Sorry, if we want to move it towards in the left direction, we need to subtract 5 from this umbrella dot x. So that's how I can control the movement. See, the umbrella is getting reflected over here, somewhere in between. If I want to get it reflected here, somewhere here, so it's 199,315. Let's display it here, 199,300. So now it is fine, it's fine now. Okay, great. Besides, what else we'll be doing? So now we will try to, just give me a short moment. So now what we will be doing, we will be defining the same thing for up and down direction keys also, so that we can control the upward movement and the downward movement of the umbrella. So this is up and this is down, and when it is moving in upward direction, what is happening? The value of y is decreasing, right? So the value of y is decreasing, so uh, I need to define this umbrella dot y equal to umbrella dot y minus 5. Similarly here I need to define umbrella dot y plus 5. Now let's see. So I'm able to move it upwards, so I'm able to move it in all the directions now. Diagonally also I'm able to move it. Fine, so this is how I can do it. Now as I've told you, in this lecture we will be learning about different kind of collisions. So the first collisions, see, what I want is I want to define some collision properties. The collision that is happening between this umbrella and these raindrops. I want to define some collision code for these two sprites. So the first collision code that we guys will be using is, so these are the various collision blocks, collision codes that we can use here. Let us use this one first, sprite.bounce. Okay, so this I'm going to use it here. So instead of sprite, I'm going to name it as group. Okay, because all the droplets are there in this group variable, right? And target is umbrella. Fine, now let's see what is going to happen when the droplets will collide with umbrella. So you see what happened when it collide, when the droplets will collide with this umbrella, it will push the umbrella downwards. So that's how this group dot c, that's how this bounce property behaves. That's how this bounce property controls the collision. Now instead of this bounce, we let us replace this bounce by bounce off this block. So now what is going to happen, let us see that also. As you can see, when the droplets are colliding with this umbrella, they are moving upwards, they are bouncing off. Okay, this is what bouncing off means. Fine. As you can see, they are leaving this world area. After colliding with this umbrella, they are leaving the world area. So if I do not want any of these sprites that are there on the world area to leave this space over here, well, how can I do that? As you already know, as I've already told it to you in the I think 7th lecture of mine, that you can define edges for this world area, right? And how can you define that? You can make use of, where is that block, create sprite. Let me just find out that block. Where is it? See, this is the one, create edge sprites. So So we are going to make use of this one. Okay, and now what, so these in this sprites option only, right at the bottom, where is that sprite bounce off? So this is the one that I can make use of. Here I'm going to make use of this. So when the group sprite will collide with top edge, I want it to bounce off. Fine. Similarly, when this when this is going to collide with the bottom edge, I want it to bounce off. And left edge also, I want the same thing to happen, and with the right edge also I want the same thing to happen. Okay, so GROUP, I made some mistake over here. So now let's see what is going to happen, whether they will move out of this world area or they will remain in this world area. That's what we need to see. So see, they are now bouncing back. Okay, so this is how we can control the sprites to move out of the world area. Now, as you can see, when I'm moving this umbrella, it is also going out of the world area. If you want to control this also from going out of the world area, you need to define all these blocks, all these 4 codes for the umbrella, for umbrella 2. So instead of group, I'm going to replace it with umbrella. Here also I'm going to replace it with umbrella. Here also it has to be umbrella, right? Here also it has to be umbrella. So now let's see what is going to happen. I have received an error. Where is the error? Where have I made any mistake? Let's see. Okay, now it is running fine. So now the umbrella is also not going outside this block area. So this is how we can control it from going outside the world area. Now let's come on that collision part. We had already seen how that where is that collision code we have defined. This is the one. So how the bounce and bounce off block works. Now we are going to make use of this collide. Instead of bounce off, we are going to define collide. Now let's see what is going to happen when the droplets will collide with this umbrella. So see, this is what you are going to get as a result. So the umbrella, they have become stable once they collided with this umbrella. Once they'll collide with this umbrella, they will become stable. So that's how this is what the collide is going to give us. This collide block is going to give us. Now what is going to happen with this displace? Let's see that also. Displace. So when the droplets will collide with this, so they are displacing the umbrella from its position. See, this is what is happening here. When this group is colliding, when these droplets are colliding with this umbrella, they are displacing it from its position. Now if I'll put it here, if I'll put, okay, if I'll put it here, now what is going to happen? See this droplet over here, it is making it to move in the up direction, in the upwards direction. So that's how, you can make use of this displace collision too. Now the last one is this overlap. How this is going to, what is the animation we are going to get with this overlap? So overlap means, it will not collide with this umbrella. It will go over the umbrella. It is not going to collide with this umbrella. So that's how you can make use of this overlap also. If you want any sprite, not to collide with any other sprite that is there on the world area, so you can make use of this overlap option. Now if suppose I want that this overlap should work when I press the up key, if I want to define something like that, so I can define this code here in the if loop that I have used for this up direction key. Similarly, I can copy this, and when I will press the downward direction key, I want the collide, I want this code to become active. In the same way, when I press the left key, I want bounce off to become active. See, that's how you can use the simple codes in an innovative way, in a different way. Try to use them in some other, in loops or in some other codes. Okay, so now instead of overlap, let's have displace here. Displace I have not defined it yet, right? So let's have displace for this. Now for this right direction key I have displace, for left direction key I have bounce off, for up I have this overlap, and for down I have this collide, and I'm removing this from here. So now what is going to happen when I will press up key? So they will overlap, the overlap part will come into action. When I will press this down key, what is going to happen? This collide part is come into action. If I'll press this left direction key, so it's not happening, just a second. If I'm pressing this right direction key, see this displace has come into action. If I'm pressing this left direction key, the bounce off will come into action. So this is how you can make use of these codes in the if loops. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed the lecture. Please do like the video and please share with me your views about this video in the comment section, and hope to connect with all of you in the next session too. Thank you very much all of you. Have a nice day.